Hello. Hello, everyone. Come on in the room. Get comfortable, get settled. We'll start in just a moment. Happy Sunday. This week has flown by. We will get started in just a second. Hello, hello. I am Mambo. I am Coven Mother of Vision Adontor, founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship Program. I am your weekly reader, and I'm a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. Happy Sunday. Happy post-full moon, shadow period of the full moon, not the full moon, new moon, black moon, shadow period lasting until Tuesday. So I hope everyone is taking time to be gentle with themselves, not just this weekend, but as we enter into this new week. If you are new here and you have made your way here because you saw me post in a group and you know that I will be doing readings for the audience, I absolutely will. But this is the weekly energy reading. So before I do readings for the audience, I do want to get through the general reading. If you're here to get a question answered, a personal question answered, again, just wait until the general reading is done for two reasons. First of all, more people benefit from the collective reading, so just wait your turn. But secondly, sometimes you guys ask questions that get answered in the general reading. So go ahead and make sure that you listen first, right? Repetition is a really good educational skill, but it also is something that pisses Tauruses off. And I'm a Taurus. I hate repeating myself. So, just take time, be patient, listen to the general reading. And if your question is answered in the general, give somebody else an opportunity to get their free reading for the week. So we will go ahead and get started. Hello, La Balin. Hello, Renee. Hello, Bertal. Hello, Sanidra. Hello, is Mixa's in? Is that Misha? Mixa's in. Let me know what your name is. Hello, Kodan. Hello, Nicole. Good to see everybody. Thank you for joining me this week. If you know anyone that would probably benefit from this message, or anyone in your life that likes tarot readings, please feel free to share the link to this reading with them. We're going to go ahead and jump straight into it and get into the general reading. Ancestors, angels, and masters, spirits, walk with me. Ancestors, please give me wisdom to pour into the collective about the energy that lies ahead of us for the week of August 25th through the 31st. What does this last week of the month of August 2025 have in store for us? Please give us wisdom into the nature of the lessons, blessings, experiences that lie ahead of us. Reveal to us who we need to be and what we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environment, so that we can have mastery over the situation. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Hello, Tiffany. Hello, Lavana. Because some of y'all are hard-headed, you did not take the opportunity of this new moon to go ahead and rest. And there's going to be some residual exhaustion that carries over with you into the week. I mentioned that we're in shadow period of the new moon as I was speaking, and I'm glad that I did, because for those of you who did not use the opportunity of the day before and the day of the new moon, for reflection and for rest, there is still an opportunity as we go into this next week for you to reflect over your situation, for you to engage in, hold on a second, there we go, to engage in evaluation and see, how do I explain this? Give me the word spirit. Part of the reason why some of you all are so exhausted is because you have too much on your plate. And there are a lot of you who want to believe that you have these things as obligation. It is not. It is a result of some unaddressed, unacknowledged shadow work that needs to be confronted. And you are deeply being encouraged to use this shadow period as well. Because here's the thing, we have an eclipse on Friday. And it's going to be an eclipse that takes a lot out of a lot of us, right? I'm actually doing some readings about the eclipse on my Patreon for those who need the wisdom and information. But any and everyone who has been trying to bulldoze their way through a situation, even though they're dealing with immense exhaustion, if your battle cry is always, I just need to get through this day, I just need to get through this week, I just need to barrel through this project, understand that that mentality is what is leading you to your exhaustion. And a lot of you, again, this is a very much a time of reset. This is the start of the school year for many people. This is the start of new jobs for a lot of people. There's just an energetic reset that we're being called to. And if you take those same old bad habits of taking too much on, of taking responsibility for other people's shit, of engaging in people pleasing that allows you to put that extra task or extra assignment on your shoulders, you will break going into this next cycle. So again, moon card, quite literally, the energy of the new moon and what comes after it. Use this as an opportunity for self-evaluation so that you can do some housekeeping and figure out, okay, what are these habits that I need to take inventory of? What are these, where am I leaving open spaces and open windows for old habits to come back to me? And what are the complications that are arising as a result of it, right? Knight of Pentacles is very much a card of taking inventory, preserving your energy, preparing for battle through observation as well as rest, right? So this is very much a time where we need to be conserving our energy as opposed to taking on new projects and responsibilities. We really need to be thinking about what we are doing out of rote or out of habit and release that. Virgo, new moon. Virgo, new moon. Refinement. A huge part of refinement has to do with editing, with cutting away, with letting go of things, okay? And again, the reason why people not doing what they needed to do during the full moon as opposed to what they wanted to do is coming up in this first row is because even the way that some of you guys engaged in the full moon, you wanted to do the spiritual bath and take a picture of it. You wanted to light the candle in the moon water and all that shit so that you could take pictures of it and put it on social media. When what your ass really needed was rest, right? I even told my girls in charm school, like, what are you doing for the full moon? If it's laying the fuck down, that is more than enough, right? There is a resistance towards rest that's coming up. And the crazy thing is, again, going back to this moon card being a card of shadow work, the reason why that resistance towards rest is there is because you feel like if you don't have enough on your plate, it makes you weak. There's a false understanding of busy and overwork as a sign of strength. And that is why the Knight of Pentacles is here. It's saying, we got to slow down. We got to observe. We got to prepare on our sniper shit, right? If you start educating yourself about war, I know that sounds random, but if you pay attention, snipers don't carry a lot of things with them. They don't carry a lot of things. They don't announce to people that they're sniping about to, it's a very strategic, pack light, move lightly kind of energy. And not only is this showing up for you guys in terms of exhaustion, it's also showing up in terms of confusion. Some of the things that y'all have on your plate, y'all don't even want to do. You don't even have a passionate connection to them. If you were to ask yourself, how you became responsible for these things, you couldn't even articulate clearly how you got there. It was just a lot of confusion and a lot of options that led to choice paralysis, and you just started agreeing to shit. And that is something that can happen with Seven of Cups energy. You can either be paralyzed by your options, or you can be so overwhelmed that you just start agreeing to things, and it's not until later that you have a lot of regret, right? As we deal with this shadow energy of the new moon in Virgo and prepare for the eclipse that's coming Friday, this is a time where it's really, really important to think about how overcommitting, not being deliberate about your tongue, not being deliberate about your promises, what you commit to prematurely, not being wise about how you speak about yourself and what you take on has led you to harming of the self, right? The Page of Swords is somebody who's learning how to use their sword to heal over harm. And we think about this a lot in terms of how the Page of Swords can be mean to other children, or they can be mean to other people in their environment. And that is what's happened with some of y'all. Some of y'all are so deeply and severely overworked that you are a baby throwing a tantrum, and you don't know how to talk to the people that are closest to you. You're lashing out at folks and you don't mean it, right? But then also there's the element of you need to learn how to say no. And if you're having a hard time saying no, remembering that the Page of Swords is one of the pages that learns from the teacher. Look at the people around you that have the balance that you want. Look at the examples in your life. And even if you feel close enough to them, ask them, like, how do you maintain work-life balance, right? But there's education right now that needs to happen on an internal level moon card about why you overcommit and how you can be better about not overcommitting. Again, I know I keep going back to this 10 of Wands. About a good 6 to 7 of these wands don't even belong to this man. It's just things that he's taken on out of guilt, out of responsibility, out of people pleasing. And again, these are not habits that are going to serve you as you move into this next chapter. Learn this lesson now while the energy is ripe for you to understand why you can't commit to everything. Why, and what does it bring out of you? What does being overcommitted bring out of you? Because it would be one thing if in your overcommitment, you were just a super nice, kind ass person, but you're not. You're mean. You're mean and you lash out on the wrong people because of your exhaustion. You're showing up as disconnected and disinterested to the people that you claim to love and care about the most. So if the overextension is happening from a wound that does not serve you, take this as an opportunity to reflect over what is happening so that you can stop moving from confusion and teach yourself how to hold better boundaries and how to say what you mean and mean what you say. Stop committing to things out of guilt and obligation. Stop committing to things out of fear of not feeling like a bad person. Because the consequence of that is that you get worn out and then you lash out. And then when you're lashing out at people or you're saying things that you don't mean, you don't want to take inventory, or you don't want to be responsible for the ways in which your viciousness and your tantrums hurt people that are closest to you. So these are lessons that we really have to learn. This is being highlighted in the shadow phase of the new moon. And it would be amazing if those of us who are watching right now or in the replay can really confront this lesson by the time that the eclipse rolls around on Friday, so that instead of having, because here's the thing, eclipses bring chaos. They bring disruption. If you are still in denial about how your overwork is making you be a brat and a mean ass, then what do you think is going to happen when the eclipse rolls around? It's about to be nasty, as opposed to you setting yourself up for the beauty and the abundance and the opportunity of this next chapter, which is what this reset is actually meant to bring us closer to. Okay? But some of us we're still grappling with this overcommitment. We think that it's virtuous. We think that it's somehow tied to a martyrdom and it makes us look saintly. No, it doesn't. All it does is make us go off on people that would have easily just asked another motherfucker to do it. If we would have known that you would have got overworked and tired and exhausted and started coming at us fucked up, we had no idea you were going to behave this way. So we would have asked somebody else to take it on, okay? Card that fell out in the shuffle, the Lover's card, Gemini energy. Are you aligned with yourself? Are you aligned with you? Are you taking on tasks and committing to things because you have an awareness of how your actions have consequence over you and your deepest relationships? If not, stop and pause, right? One thing that happens a lot with Geminis are the twins. And the reason why people experience Geminis as two-faced is because when we first meet them, we meet the nice twin. We meet the sweet, docile twin. We meet the turn-up twin, the sweet twin, right? But a Gemini that does not have healthy boundaries will people please and leave a lot of space open. And then it's not until they feel like that nice twin is being taken advantage of that the vicious twin comes out. And a lot of times people don't have no warning about that vicious twin. Why do they not have warning about that vicious twin? Because they done had whole conversations with their fucking self about how they're stretched thin, or they're tired, or they're too busy, or they don't want to do So yeah, it can feel like you're being really fucking two-faced when you snap off on somebody about some shit that you agreed to, or worse, that you volunteered for, and you never had to do that, right? So Lover's card, Gemini, are you making decisions from an aligned place? Or are you making them from a debilitated lover's position where you're doing things because you just want to be loved and liked so badly that you're not thinking about what can go wrong when the resentment sets in? This is all something that we really got to be honest with ourselves about, and we really got to confront this week, okay? Lynn said, I'm reading her the fuck down. I think, again, these are collective messages. We are more alike than we are different as a collective, as individuals. So I'm pretty sure that if it's hitting you, it's hitting at least 70% of the other people in the room or who are going to watch this later. Since we ended with the Lover's card, we'll go into love next. Elevated ancestors. What wisdom lies ahead of us as a collective in this final week of August 2025 as it relates to love, romance, and matters of the heart? Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environment that will allow us to have the experiences of love and be experienced by those we love in the ways we wish and hope for? If there are any deficits or blockages within our love lives that we need to take account of in this new moon shadow period as we prepare for the eclipse, I'm going to let those two fall. Please give us wisdom at this time. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. 3 cards actually fell out, so I'm just going to read all 3 of those in the order that they fell out as the first row. Sorry. I don't mean to keep poking at my eye. I think I'm having a bad relax. So I'm about to overshare and ramble a little bit, but just you'll deal with it. Taurus, ruled by Venus. It's fine. I could not. So apparently my Sephora that's near me doesn't carry my Tom Ford eyeliner anymore. So I bought an eyeliner from another brand that I will not name. And I hate it. I think I'm having some sort of allergic reaction to it. It's actually pissing me off a little bit. So if my eyes are watering and I keep touching my face, that's what's going on. I am not going to cry. I'm not going to cry on a love reading. I'm not. Okay. Some of you, collective, some of us have been feeling a deep sense of imposter syndrome when it comes to romance. And this is whether we are in relationship, whether we are ending a relationship, or whether we are still dating. We've been dealing with immense amount of imposter syndrome. And I always say that the solution to imposter syndrome, hi Tori, good to see you. The solution to imposter syndrome is work, it's research, it's learning, right? It's educating yourself and being active in the process of training. If you're busy, you don't have time for imposter syndrome. You don't have time to sit around and think about what's going on, right? And what's gonna help a lot of us get over this imposter syndrome around our love and romance is connecting with our chosen family, tapping back into the people that love us, that we've created joyful memories with, that can remind us of who we are. I had 3 different really difficult separations last year. One of which I've talked about here on the channel, so I'm not going to rehash. It wasn't related to romance at all. It was business. But 2 with people that I loved in my life. And people don't talk enough about how breakups cause a sense of imposter syndrome. Because if, God forbid, the other person is vengeful and hateful and they're trying to make you feel bad, you can end up feeling like, well, I don't, that's not who I understand myself to be, right? So get to work. Get to work. Get to work. Pour yourself into refining your habits that you know are causing the feeling of imposter syndrome. If you feel like an imposter around your communication, sharpen your communication skills. And you don't have to do this alone. Do it with your chosen family. Do it with the people that you love the most, who have the deepest and most fond memories of you. I've had an experience of, and this is why I was about to cry. Sorry. Because it was an unexpected blessing. I've had the blessing of, over this past week, friends that I love very deeply, but that I don't get to talk to very often, reaching out to me out of nowhere. And it's been so beautiful to just have those reminders of who I am and how far I've come in life. Because even though I love the work that I do and the profession I have, it can be so deeply isolating, right? So if you're feeling like you're having a hard time with seeing yourself clearly, yes, work and refine your work, but also allow yourself to tap into your community of people who love you and see you as your full self. That is going to really help you tremendously in terms of not only being able to shake away that imposter syndrome that may be the thing that has caused you to, for some reason I knew I was going to cry, so I have a paper towel right here. This new moon ain't no hoe. This new moon ain't no hoe. And for the patrons, that's why the new moon readings didn't go up. The new moon has taken so much out of me as an individual that I realized, like, okay, just let me focus on these eclipse readings, because I really don't need to be waterworks for every single reading. But not only does that help you in terms of realizing that you're not an imposter, you are not a fake or a fraud the way that people who don't want to see you win may want to convince you of, but it'll also help you in terms of just being in alignment with your creativity, right? Being tapped into your vulnerability in a way that will propel you forward. So this whole first row is talking about how don't submit to the feelings of people trying to make you feel like you're a fraud. If anything, if somebody's trying to make you feel that way, it's because there's a projection coming from them. So focus on your refinement, work harder, move harder. I think a lot of times when it comes to love, whether it's romantic love, platonic love, familial love, we want to run, we want to hide, and we want to self-isolate when people are making us feel insecure or weird. No, that is when you reach out to the people that love you the most so that they can be a mirror for you. And then that then gives you permission to exercise your own self-love, right? Because that's what the Empress is about. She's a card of self-love and the creativity and the abundance that comes from self-love, right? If you can allow yourself to do this week, this will really, really, really deepen and strengthen your confidence. And confidence is attractive, right? We love a confident person. You get better results when you are confident, when you have a deep belief in yourself and you can unapologetically promote and advertise who you are in your authenticity. That attracts people to you, right? Part of the reason why people love King of Wands, like, yeah, they're fly, yeah, they dress well, but it's that deep belief that they have in themselves, right? And so when it comes to love, whether it is our romantic relationships, whether it's family, whether it's whatever, we get back to a space of confidence, not by hyperfixating on what's going wrong, but by tapping into the people that love us the most and letting them reflect, letting them be our mirror so that we can get back on our throne and really, really understand how powerful, how great we are. That's really going to strengthen and embolden our confidence, okay? I'm going to get through this reading. I haven't done this in a while. Y'all know I'm a crybaby. And every 3 or so months, there's one that takes a lot out of me. And this is why those eclipse readings have to be behind a paywall, because it's taken a lot. But that's what alchemy is. Alchemy is not submitting to the difficult or the negative feelings. It's being like, okay, I'm going to use my strength. I'm going to use my skill set to really create something better, right? The magician is not just about being a trickster. It's not just about being able to wow other people. It's about the knowledge of self and the wisdom that you gain to be able to create the environment and the circumstances that you want. When it comes to love, a lot of us are only having difficult experiences because we're not seeing ourselves clearly or fairly. And so if you can tap into your wisdom as a magician and really position yourself to allow yourself to show up in the world as powerful, you'll be able to get a different and a better result, right? This reading is about self-love and engaging in self-love in a way that allows you to attract a genuine love. There are too many of us, and I'm using us because this is a collective reading. There are too many of us who are trying to make people who don't want to see us clearly see us and love us. And that's why we have the imposter syndrome. That's the only reason why we don't understand how dope we are. So the answer is not to even continue to bother with those people. The answer is to lean into the people that are going to be able to mirror you in the way you deserve, right? And for some of us, majority of us, we're blessed to have this in community. If for whatever reason you don't have this in community, pull on it ancestrally. Pull on it ancestrally. We should be talking to our ancestors anyway, right? We should have a deep relationship with our court anyway. But really take it to your ancestors this week. Our ancestors knew us before we even got here, right? There's a lot about who we are that is by design and on purpose. So if you are losing sight of you, go to them. They'll remind you. They'll remind you of who you are. So to summarize, the crazy thing is I'm doing all this crying, and I promise y'all my love life is actually really good right now. My nigga is acting right. Things are fine. This is just me releasing some stuff that I haven't fully released. And I'm unfortunately doing it on camera. So I appreciate all the kind words in the comments. I promise you I'm good. So to summarize, to summarize, the imposter syndrome does not belong to you. You get out on it on refining those good parts of yourself. Everything that is good about you that someone tried to confuse you about and make you see as deficit, don't run from that. Refine it. Use this energy to refine that this week. And literally just lean into the people who love you most so that you can have a healthy mirror, so that you can continue to do that work. Because the more rooted in self-love you are, the more your confidence will increase and the more you'll attract more of what you deserve. So this is about the alchemy of understanding. Access, that was the word that I was trying to find earlier. Somebody has access to you that doesn't belong to that doesn't deserve to have it. And that's messing with your ability to see yourself as a loving person. And the answer is not to self-isolate. The answer is to connect with the people that understand how loving you are. And if for whatever reason you feel like you don't have enough of those people in the material world, your ancestors are more than enough to do that work. Okay? Whew. I'm not even going to say what Loa is doing this to me right now, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know. She going to rip the tears out of you, whether you want. You can be tough around her all you want to. She going to rip them out. Let's get into my favorite subject, which is money. Let's get into money. I'm going to switch decks for this. We're going to go to Game of Thrones. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits, and walk. And I said before I wasn't going to talk to her before I get on these readings. And what my dumb ass do? I talk to her, and now here I am weeping. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits, and walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about money, finances, prosperity in our lives over the next week? How can we use the final week of August to call in the wealth, progress, and abundance we would like to see? If there are any blocks or threats to our financial health at this time, please expose those threats and give us wisdom and strategy to create protections around our wealth. Who do we need to be? What do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environment that will put us in alignment with the energy of prosperity? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. 2 cards fell out again. Whew. Knight of Swords, 8 of Cups. There is something in your life that you are trying to force. It's like you're beating a dead horse. You have a very specific vision that you can't let go of when it comes to your finances, and you're still trying to move in that way. And it's not helping you. You actually are being called to leave it behind and let it go and really trust that you'll have better and receive better if you can walk away from it, right? I think sometimes, especially when it comes to investment or business strategy, we can really be hard-headed about admitting that something's not working. Um, and we don't want to quote unquote lose. But you only lose when the rest of the world is reading the tea leaves and seeing the symptoms of shit not going well for you, and you double and triple down instead of leaving it alone, right? So this is a week, even if you don't finally do it this week, this is the week where you come to the realization that something that you have been putting a lot of financial investment, or not even literal investment, but like thought, a lot of thought, hopes about the future into, is not in alignment with where you need to be emotionally. And you need to understand that the walking away from it is a win instead of trying to force it, right? I love that if you watch Game of Thrones, I love that the Knight of Swords is represented by this evil motherfucker right here. I don't even remember his name, but he creeped me out. He was a personification of sociopathy. And the Knight of Swords, although deeply trained and educated, can represent an energy of somebody who is low-key sociopathic because all they think about is getting what they want and hitting their goal, right? Ramsey, thank you. Ramsey was a fucking evil motherfucker. I was about to say something crazy. No, I am going to do it. I'm probably going to watch a couple episodes where he was in it because he was something else. But yeah, let it go. Stop trying to force something. The only thing that is coming up is that you are looking like a brute and a tyrant. You're not getting what you want from your finances. It's not working out in your favor the way you hoped. So walk away knowing that you're a win instead of doing further damage. A lot of you guys are forcing this, and it's causing you to literally lie to yourselves, right? You think you're manipulating and you're getting over on other people. You think you're hiding that things aren't working out, and it's not. You're literally lying to yourself, right? So instead of engaging in the debilitation of Seven of Swords, which is that thief card energy and that self-sabotage, that moving in a way that is shady, move in a way that is strategic, right? And let that bring you different results. What episode are you on? I've been feeling a really deep, you know what, and it's going to sound weird that I'm saying this. I miss Marjorie, and I want to watch some episodes with Marjorie in it. So what episodes are you on, Bertal? Because I feel like, I don't know, I think I may rewatch season 3. But yeah, the strategy of the Seven of Swords, of moving in a way that is manipulative, is not helping you. It's not helping you. And what you need to actually do is develop a new plan and stand your ground around it. Everybody may not understand the financial choices that you're making. Some people may have judgments around it. It's more important that you learn to stand your ground in discomfort as opposed to moving in manipulation so that you seem a certain way to the outside world, because that's what's going to lead you to financial deficit, right? And stand 10 toes in the decisions that you make. Here's the thing that's crazy. The people that matter are going to support you anyway, right? You're a lot more likely to get to your space of success and peer admiration by moving authentically instead of trying to force something and manipulate something that's not working for you, right? I was just having this conversation with someone earlier today in a golden shadow reading. There are too many of you all who feel like your work has to come from professional environments. And when I say professional in quotes environments, I don't mean like, quit your job tomorrow, because it may be getting another job, but just a job that's in a creative field, right? There are passions that you have that have the potential to be really, really profitable, but you feel like you don't want to explore them because they're either childish or people have told you that they're delusional. I watch a whole channel here on YouTube, and it's just a young man, a young Latino man, and literally all he does is review 10 fish. All he does is review. I wish I was joking. That's all he does. He reviews 10 fish. And when I open my YouTube and I see a new video from this young man, I sit down and I watch it from front to back like Beyonce just released a new album. Okay? Why am I bringing this up? Anything that you are passionate about, if you allow yourself to dream around it, you can create an income from it. You may not make millions of dollars from it, even if it's just an additional $500 to $1,000 a month. Baby, that's $500 you didn't have last month. So instead of manipulating yourself into doing things that you low-key don't want to do, doing things that just seem impressive or professional to other people, stand your ground around your passions and give yourself the opportunity to really explore that creative side of yourself. Dream and trust your dreams. I make fun of and I talk a lot about the delusional aspects of Pisces, but Pisces are the dreamers. And a lot of times they can create shit for themselves that other people would not be able to do. And they do it in a way that makes it look easy to other people. I have a dear friend, Juan, like that's like a brother of mine. And I remember the first time I went to his house a couple years ago, it was one of the most beautiful houses I've ever seen. But it looks like him. It looks like him. And I even told him, I was like, if I got lost in this neighborhood and somebody told me find your house, I would know that this was your house. He's really big dreamer. You can see that it's like when he talks and when he shares about himself, you can see the inner child in him. But there's a dreamer that just really lives in him that comes out naturally. And a lot of you are in a position where you are miserable with what you do to make work because you lost touch with your dreams. Now, this is coming up. I'm not saying that you have to quit your job. And, you know, if you love basket weaving, I'm not telling you to quit your job and start basket weaving tomorrow, right? This could be you keep your job and then you just have a side stream of income. And that side stream of income brings you a lot of comfort. But there are false beliefs that need to die that are really organizing your steps in a lot of the way that you engage with your career and financial decisions that are doing more harm to you than help. And in order for you to enter into a chapter of abundance, you got to let that shit die. You have to let the false belief that the only way you can survive is to show up inauthentically die. You have to release the false belief that self-sabotage is the only way you can get close to financial independence. This is a call for this chapter to close, where you have this belief that your passions cannot generate income from you. That's crazy. Again, young man, literally 15-minute videos of him just eating 10 fish and being like, this is nasty. This is oily. I like this one. Put hot sauce on it. And I watch religiously. Okay? So if he can make an income off of that, if you know what your passions are, you can make an income off of it. And again, it may not be one that replaces your full-time job, but it'll be better than what you are experiencing now. So this understanding that you have to be unhappy to make money needs to die. It needs to go away. And it's a false belief that's related to your shadow work. So again, use this new moon shadow period and this energy as we go into the eclipse to really do this work of changing your perspective around how you're supposed to earn money. I understand why this Knight of Swords came out. It's like so many of you guys are chasing promotion and chasing admiration and chasing what it looks like or an old understanding that you told yourself around what success is. And you don't have to do that. Leave that in the past. Leave that in the past, okay? I'm going to come back in just one moment. I really need to, my eyes are irritating me. I will be right back. Please don't leave. I will be back in about 90 seconds, okay? Thank you all for being patient. Damn, y'all stayed. Okay. I think only one person left. I love y'all. Y'all are the best. I low-key want to say what brand of fucking eyeliner this is that's fucking me up, in case other people have sensitive skin. Because, and it's crazy because this brand, I buy a lot of their lipstick, so I had no idea I would have this kind of reaction to their eye product. But here we are. I don't know if you guys can even tell, but like my left eye is starting to get a little puffy. But whatever. We're going to roll with it. We're going to finish this reading out strong. I hope that financial reading was helpful to those who were here and who heard it. So let's wrap up with the health and wellness reading, and then I'm going to go ahead and take some questions from the audience, okay? Ancestors, angels, and master spirits who work with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about our mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness as we wrap up the month of August 2025? Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about our habits and our environment? What do we need to embrace, release, or maintain in order to have holistic health, have well-rounded health when it comes to mind, body, and spirit? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Y'all getting a lot from me tonight. Y'all watch me weep. Y'all are seeing me have an allergic reaction. Y'all are it's a lot. I had a mascara that tore my eye up. Even started peeling off out. Was it MAC, Sanidra? Was it MAC? I can't, that's not what I'm wearing right now. It's another brand. But I can't do MAC mascara. MAC mascara fucks with my eyes terribly. I have no idea what they put in that stuff, but it did the same thing to me. It made my eyes itchy, and then like the skin, and this has never happened. And I was so nervous that it was going to result in me like getting wrinkles or something, but like the skin around the corners of my eyes started to peel. I was like, what the hell is this? But yeah, I did not expect this. Next time I'll just buy my eyeliner online instead of being hard-headed. It was Essence. Really? That's disappointing because I like their primer. Essence and Ulta, right? In the I've seen Essence and CVS and Ulta, and I've bought their face primer, their foundation primer before. I've had really good experiences of it. That's disappointing. All this shit got chemicals anyway. I'm like, if it didn't take 8,000 years, I would low-key make my own makeup. I've watched videos of people making their own lipsticks and stuff on TikTok, but it's literally like a 5 or 6 day process, and I don't have that kind of time. But they're just putting so many toxins and chemicals and weird shit and thinners and all kind of stuff into all the makeup, and it's fucking with it's just really fucking with us. Don't argue with nobody this week. Don't argue with nobody this week. It's just gonna put a stress. It'll raise your blood pressure up, and you don't need that right now. I'm gonna clarify with Polk Girls. No, with Parent. I'm gonna clarify with True Heart. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits walk with me. What further wisdom do we need about the Four of Wands as it relates to our health and wellness? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. So very first thing, mostly wand cards were not moving enough. Increase your physical movement this week. Get out and walk around, move your body, get that cardio in, okay? Some of you guys are not experiencing enough joy in the home. I think a lot of us work from home. Read me. I think a lot of us who are watching either work from home or um, we work so much in our jobs that when we get home, we neglect our home, right? We see. I remember, so I had an apartment that it wasn't even an apartment. It was it wasn't an SRO, but it was like a makeshift studio in the Bay. And I hated it there. It was not a comfortable environment. And I remember justifying to people and saying to them, well, as long as I'm just going to treat it like a place to shit, shower, and shave, right? Some of you guys are treating your home that way. It's like you're so disconnected from your home space and it's not healthy, right? Four of Wands should be a card of homecoming. And it's a card about nesting and beautifying the home and feeling good in the home. Understanding that your home is a place of homecoming. It should feel like celebration. But unfortunately, some of you all are so busy that you've lost sight of that. And you low key almost have a resentment towards your home because you haven't kept it up really nicely, right? So let this be the week where you do some purging, you let some things go, and you bring some sort of joy and celebration into the home, right? The Page of Wands often comes up to remind us to have fun. And some of you guys are not treating your home like a fun space. You're literally just treating it like a space where you shit, shower, and shave. And that's not good. Of course, it's hard to feel celebratory. You are so busy, being a boss bitch, Queen of Swords, getting things done, focusing on, tasks, that you've disengaged from your home as a space of pleasure. And so, for the sake of your mental and spiritual health, it's really important this week that you allow yourself to get back to a space where you see home as a space of beauty. Okay. The Three of Wands is both literal and it's also about travel. Some of you guys are not ready for travel. And I think a lot of you all, there's okay, I'm going to be real. Some of you guys feel like there's an ideal weight that you want to be at before you take that trip. And your spirits are saying, no, fuck that. Book that trip. We don't care if you 15 pounds away from your ideal weight. We don't care if you feel like, you got to get your waist a little bit more. That's some bullshit. Book the trip anyway. Take the travel. Stop waiting for these ideal circumstances. And even if you feel that way, book the trip and use the time between now and then to get into that position. But you need to go and travel. Don't wait for a random ideal circumstance for you to explore and see the world the way that you want to. Book your travel, see the world, move forward. And that's another part of the reason why you're having a hard time feeling joy. You don't leave your house. So of course you can take your house for granted. It's like how we treat people in our lives, right? Men do this shit real bad. I'm not going to go. No, yes, I am. Men do this shit real bad where they treat the people who are closest to them in their lives with neglect. This leads to divorce and shit, right? And it's very much what y'all are doing to your homes. You're working from home or you're coming home and you're not going out, you're not exploring, and it's making you feel resentful towards your home because your home is like a little prison or a little trap. And instead of actually booking the trip and going out and exploring the way you want to, you're like, well, I don't have enough money saved up. Or I said I was going to be at wait. Or I don't want to go to Cabo until I can fit into my college jeans. Fuck all that. Book the trip. Take your happy ass somewhere and explore so that way when you come home, you can actually be grateful for the home and the space you have instead of having this embittered energy towards your physical environment. This is discipline. And I talk about this a lot with clients that I work with, especially around financial trauma recovery, right? The emperor, the boss, a builder, somebody who is creating not only stability for themselves, but creating the life that they want. through discipline, okay? A huge part of discipline is understanding that the same way that I schedule my work, I have to schedule my relaxation. I have to schedule my pleasure. And a lot of you are so wrapped up in the work that you have not planned pleasure for yourself. It's probably been years since you've taken travel, or the last time that you have traveled, it was only for work or for some sort of organizational obligation. No, it is a part of discipline to structure in your care, right? This is why like big CEOs and stuff will go on these nature retreats and they're not even accessible to their employees by phone or email for weeks, if not a month at a time. If you want to have a life of stability, you have to be able to balance out your pleasure and your self-care just as much as you do your work. So book the trip, take the travel, and see it as a necessity for your emotional and spiritual health, not just a fantasy for escapism that you use to cope with when work is getting on your nerves. Okay? Page of Pentacles. You have the money. You just have to train yourself to understand that you have the money. What does that mean? You need to budget differently. You need to work with a financial advisor. You need to, and even if it's not a financial advisor that you pay, watch financial literacy videos and budgeting videos on YouTube, right? But there's a lesson that you need to learn about your relationship with money, not only so that it can free up stuff around this trip, but it can free up stress for you in general. Because again, a huge part of the reason why you're so uncomfortable in your own home, why you're so disconnected from your own home is that overwork and overthinking that is leading to embitterness. If you can make your money move differently for you, you can stop being so embittered and stop forcing yourself into overwork, right? This is random, but I was actually thinking about this a few days ago. I started couponing at the beginning of the year when I realized the food prices were insane and that they were never getting any better, right? So even though food prices have increased tremendously, and you know the detergent that I used to use that was once $12 is now $19. That is a big fucking price jump. I still am able to purchase the same things I used to because I coupon now. And I don't care if it takes me a little longer in the checkout aisle. Guess what? I still have my money for the other shit that I need, right? For some of you guys, it's probably not couponing. It's getting a lower Wi-Fi something. But there's something going on with learning about how to use your money strategically through budgeting that will take a lot of stress off of you. Why is this coming up in a health reading? Because money is the thing that has you stressed out. Money is the thing that's making you resentful towards your home. You're resentful towards the rent you have to pay or the bills you have to pay when you should be grateful. So change your relationship with your budget and your relationship with money and exercise some gratitude instead of developing this resentment that makes you not even honor or create joy in this space that you're working hard to have, right? Under the Three of Wands, we have the Five of Wands. This trip you take needs to be a solo trip or a trip that you only go on with your immediate family or your spouse. This is not a girl's trip. This is not a fucking girl's trip. This is not a trip with friends. You will have arguments. They will be petty arguments. They will be arguments that fucking infuriate the hell out of you. You will learn about the bully in somebody that you think is a friend or a colleague, and it will lead to something that is irreparable. Five of Wands, okay? Do not go on a trip with other people. And here's the thing. This is another, and this is why this is coming up in the health reading. Take that trip by yourself. I don't know why people are so afraid of solo travel. And if you don't want to go by yourself, again, go with a romantic partner or a family member. But people do this thing where they think that, you know, I'm going to take a trip and then I'm going to invite 3 or 4 other people and that's going to offset my cost. And then you go on the trip and people treat you like shit, or it's all these petty disputes and arguments because you guys agreed to move through and make the money or use the money one way. And then you get there and the people want to do all this extra shit or it'll lead to conflict that is not worth it. And it's only going to raise your pressure up and frustrate the hell out of you. Okay? So your spirits are saying, yes, you need this trip for health and relaxation. And you need to start teaching yourself that travel is a part of your health and physical care. It's not just escapism. It's literally built into your health, right? This is why it's coming up in a health reading. But you need to be comfortable with learning how to do it alone, because traveling with the wrong people is bad spiritual hygiene. And it's only going to lead to petty disputes and arguments that frustrate the bejesus out of you, right? Learning that it is okay to move through self, and that travel alone will actually give you an opportunity to learn an immense amount about you that you don't already know. I'm going to repeat that. Traveling by yourself gives you an opportunity to learn about you and learn things about yourself that you did not already know. Okay? So stop hiding behind other people and allow yourself to travel by yourself. Again, this is under that Emperor card. The Emperor has no problem with standing on their own when it is right and time and appropriate. So to summarize the health reading, some of you guys, home has not become a pleasurable space. And the reason why it's not a pleasurable space is because you're there too goddamn much. You have not left your house enough. So yes, until you can book the trip, just get out, do little things, get out of the house, because the more time you spend in the house, the more embittered and resentful you become of your space. And that's not healthy for you. You need to be traveling. You need to be moving your body. You need to be exploring new areas. You need to see travel and exploration as a part of your not only personal discipline, but as a part of your health journey. And I know that may sound crazy to some people, but it's not. It's not. You ever heard the phrase, you can't heal in the environment that's made you sick? Some of us is not as simple as us picking up and moving somewhere. It's about us needing to travel, needing to be exposed to new experiences, right? I think about the card, the King of Cups. What makes him a compassionate leader is that he's deeply well-traveled. And a lot of the embitteredness that's coming up in y'all's energy right now has to do with the fact that you feel stagnant, you don't move around, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Move around. Stop telling yourself you don't have money. You do have money to travel. You just need to do different things with the money that you have. You need to budget better, right? If you can spend $150 a month on groceries, but you're choosing to spend $300, and then you're turning around and saying that you don't have money to travel, that's your fucking fault. If you are spending $100 on subscription services, and the Southwest round trip ticket to go and visit your homegirl for a weekend is only $80, what's going on with your priorities, right? So looking at your money and thinking about priorities, but also figuring out what it looks like to be comfortable with moving and traveling on your own. Some of you guys don't explore enough because you only want to do it in groups of other people, when groups of other people can become stressful, especially when those people are petty, okay? This health reading was mostly about mental and spiritual health, but I'm digging it. I think that it's a lesson that we all needed. All right. I'm now at the end of the reading. I'm now prepared to take questions from the audience. As you are typing out your questions, go ahead and type out your questions. And as you're doing that, I'll give you updates about everything that I'm working on at the minute. This is the last week to get Ancestral Life Path readings at a discounted rate of $75. I want to address this. Perfect idea. I do that. I haven't done it in a while, but it used to be something that I did a lot. I love going to concerts by myself. First of all, it's a great way to make friends. People are going to befriend you if you're the person at a concert by yourself. The good people will. But also, it's just, let's be real. Sometimes when you go to concerts with other people, it turns into a turn up where it's hard for you to really even enjoy the music completely, right? I actually regret not going to the Clips concert last week. Y'all know how I'm about the Clips. I've loved them for 20 years of my life. And I didn't go. And I have big regrets about that. And I'm hopeful and prayerful that they do come back to Atlanta, but I wish that I would have gone. But absolutely, go on the trip by yourself. Go to the concert by yourself. Going to concerts by yourself is lit as fuck. But yeah, I keep doing that. I'm not trying to highlight anything right now. I should have gone. And I'm kicking myself about it, Misha. I really wish that I would have gone. But I was giving updates. Last week for Ancestral Life Path readings at the discounted rate of $75, they will go back up to $125 on the 1st. My discounted reading for the month of September is the shadow work consultations. Those will be at the discounted rate of $75 starting on the 1st. So if you have not gotten a shadow work consultation, if you know you need one, starting September 1st, those will be my discounted offerings. I'm trying to do where every month I offer at least one reading on a discounted or introductory rate, just to make things accessible for you all. So if you want to get a shadow work consultation, keep your eyes out for that. Patreon update. The 2 classes that are going to be September, and so typically I do 1 class for the Patreon as an exclusive, but I'm doing 2 this month. September 2nd, we're going to be doing Cards of Abundance, which is a tarot class. So we're going to be talking about the cards in the tarot that represent abundance and prosperity and how to use them in your conjure. I think some of you guys know that divination helps you in terms of structuring spell work, but you don't know how to actively use the cards as elements in spell work in and of themselves. So this class is going to teach you how to do that. So that's going to be September 2nd. Then on September 16th, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a tobacco cologne. Tobacco cologne I think it's a spiritual essential. I think anybody who does any kind of conjure or spiritual work should have a tobacco cologne, especially if you ever find yourself in environments where you can't burn smoke. It ends up being a great supplement. So if you are not already subscribed to the Patreon, but you know you want to take part in those 2 classes, click the link below. All paid. There are several paid memberships, and paid members get access to my classes, okay? I really want to make that clear. I've had people join as free members and then get mad that they don't get the replays. You're not going to get the replays. They're for paid members, respectfully. So join the Patreon if you want to take advantage of those classes. The eclipse readings will be up by Wednesday for Patreon members as well, okay? And Bertal, you're in Charm School, so you'll be there. You can access the class as a Charm School member. Once I learned how easy it was to make a tobacco cologne, I was just like, really? It's one of those things where when you're early in your spiritual journey, you think it's far more complicated than what it actually is. Labor Day sale for the general public, that's going to start on Friday. If you are on my email list, or if you've ever placed an order through my website, then the early access will start on Wednesday. So if anybody who wants to book something but is waiting for a sale, keep your eyes and your ears open for the Labor Day sale announcement. I feel like that's everything for right now. Charm School is still open, so if you want to interview and join us, we're accepting sign up for interviews until September 15th, okay? A couple of you did have questions, so let me go ahead and scroll. Oh, I don't have my banner up. I was about to talk about love offerings, and I don't even have the banner up, so there we go. Couple of you do. Join the class, Labalin. Come to the class on the 16th so you can learn how to make one. Labalin wants to know if they should prepare to cut their hair again. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me. Should Labalin prepare to cut her hair again? If so, why? What is the call to cut her hair? Should she do it or should she avoid it? and not give in to the impulse. Anyone some shared is deeply appreciated. It seems like it's time. It seems like it's time. It'll help you with emotional breakthrough because we do carry a lot of emotions and energy in our hair. And so the release of your hair will help you tremendously with emotional processing. It's also coming up that it's somewhat of an offering to your spirits as well. So you cutting this hair and releasing it allows you to give offering to them. There's also energy in your hair that you need to leave behind and walk away from. So it seems like it may be time. I've done 2 big chops in my life, and I've been feeling a call to do a third. So I do think that for some people, it is just something that happens that helps them tremendously spiritually. So it may be time. Go ahead, cut your hair. Use it as an excuse to get you some nice wigs. Wig technology has gotten a lot better. Like some people have wigs. I was watching Sarah Jakes Robert this morning, and I was like, "Damn, bitch, got a nice wig." Some wigs are really, really dope. So give yourself permission to do that, especially if you feel your spirit's calling you towards it. Tiffany, does my cousin Whitney have good intentions when she reaches out to me and is snooping my spiritual TikTok account? Let's see. Ancestors, angels, and master spirits walk with me. What can you tell us about Whitney's intentions? Why is she snooping Tiffany's account? What's going on? Why is she snooping? Anyone some shared is deeply appreciated. If anyone else has any questions for me, go ahead and put those in the comments. Do you not have a solid relationship with your cousin Tiff or your cousin Whitney? Because I'm getting that she misses you. Queen of Pentacles, she sees you as somebody really abundant and grounded. There's an attraction that she has to your energy. She sees you as somebody who is able to receive favor very easily. But for whatever reason, she doesn't feel like she has access to you. There's a crying over spilled milk dynamic. So she may have done something to you in the past that she has regret about. So a lot of her watching your account is coming from a place of longing. I wouldn't be surprised if she reaches out to you at some point, especially in the immediate future. Fool card is about taking a big risks, going on a new journey. So it's clear that she wants reconnection with you in some kind of way. There's a longing behind her watching your account. I don't get that she's being nefarious or that she has negative intentions. It's more about there being almost like her having a longing to be connected to you again. Because she misses you. That's the long and the short of it, babe. She misses you. She misses you. I have family members that are the same way. Either they've fallen out with me or typical like Black family bullshit where it's like, my daddy don't fuck with you, so I can't fuck with you. But they won't stop stalking my page. And it's like, just grow up and say you miss me and apologize, but whatever. Let's see, who is next? Oh, you guys have been on and off for years. Yeah, she wants to be on again and doesn't know how to say it. That's pretty much what it is. I hope that was helpful, Tiffany. Josie wants to know, I feel like I need to end a love connection. I don't feel like I'm a priority. Can I get some advice? You absolutely can get some advice. After Josie, we'll do Nicole. If there's no other questions after Nicole, we'll wrap up for the evening. Again, if you want to send a love offering, they are deeply appreciated. They are not an obligation, but they're appreciated and they're helpful. My Cash App as well as my PayPal are both scrolling below. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me. Does Josie need to end her relationship? Is it time for her to release this romantic connection? If so, what insight can you give her into why and how she should move? If not, what is the wisdom she needs to gain about what she's currently feeling? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. I got you after Nicole, Shoshana. I'm going to ask you a question, even though I already know the answer to it, Josie. Do you have a hard time leaving relationships in general? I'm getting an energy from the cards that are here of someone who needs to learn how to be comfortable with leaving things once they get the initial insight that it's not working, right? So Page of Pentacles, this is a lesson that you have to learn, right? A Page of Pentacles in its core is a card of apprenticeship. And it's apprenticeship around lessons that will position you to have more prosperity in the future, right? And the prosperity in this situation is gratitude and joy, right? Rather than seeing the ending of a relationship as a deficit, exercise gratitude for being able to leave things early and with your peace intact, right? So once you leave this relationship, you'll be able to have a lot of gratitude, not only for yourself, but from what you've learned from this relationship. But yeah, you need to move away from it. You need to be open to exploring your future. And that's another thing. I get that you're somebody who doesn't, and a lot of women do this in particular, especially women of color. We will stay in some shit forever, even if it's not going well for us or if it's toxic, just because we don't want to multi-date. We don't want to date. We don't want to explore. But again, going back to gratitude, if you can see dating as an opportunity for exploration instead of seeing it as a deficit and looking at singledom as a punishment, it'll bring you a tremendous amount of gratitude. But you need to leave this alone and move forward into the next opportunity for love and romance for yourself. And here's the thing, Spirit made it a point not to say anything about your partner and their deficits because you already know what their deficits are. You even said so yourself. You don't feel like you're a priority. That's a deficit. If you are in partnership, whether it's romantic, friendship, business, a sibling or a family member, and people are making you feel like you are not a priority, that is not a reflection of you. That is a reflection of them. And if you continue to stay around and let them make you feel like you're not a priority, it's only going to get worse. The type of neglect that people give you has capacity to get worse if you continue to stay. So the message here is, rather than trying to preserve this relationship due to whatever false understanding, I don't get that you have a lot, like a high, I don't mean to be rude. You don't have a high opinion of people who are single for some reason. And so that's, again, something that you got to work through. What false belief do you have about people who are single? And how does that keep you trapped in situations that kind of suck for you, right? So the Three of Wands is not just about you moving away and going into a new relationship and being prepared for a new relationship. It's also about you leaving around this fucked up understanding behind, because that's what gets you trapped into these situations that aren't good for you. I hope that was helpful. Nicole wants to know if they should reconnect with Yvonne. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits to walk with me, validated ancestors. What wisdom does Nicole need about Yvonne? Should she be reconnecting with Yvonne? If so, what does that reconnection look like? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. And if there are no other questions after Tashana, we will wrap up after Tashana for the night. Good. I'm glad that was helpful for you, Josie. I'm glad that it resonated. No, you do not. Here's the thing. You love them, and that's very, very clear. The Eight of Swords fell out. So you do have a deep fear of losing them. But there are dynamics to this relationship that make you feel imprisoned. And realistically, because you don't have a whole lot of control over their actions, we don't have control over most other people's actions, right? There's a very high likelihood that the dynamics that have made you feel smothered or trapped or like you don't have a lot of freedom are just going to reiterate, right? You are coming from a really good place, but you also are the person that pours the most into this relationship and this exchange. That's why this Six of Pentacles is coming up, because it's like you are the one that's the most charitable with your energy, with your time, and sometimes your literal resources in this friendship or in this exchange, right? But y'all argue like cats and dogs. This person has a tendency to want to dominate you, to bully you at times. And we are all grown titty women. We don't have time to deal with people who want to be schoolyard bullies, right? And with everything that you have going on in your life, with the blessings you have, with the partner that you have, and the peace that is brought to you in that partnership, you don't really have it to be pulled into petty arguments and disputes that literally fuck up your nervous system just because other people want to feel powerful for a minute, right? So, Three of Swords, whatever led you guys to separate in the first place was a heartbreak that was meant for your maturation. So even though there's still a longing there and you may miss this person, there was a lesson about why you can't be in relationship with people who are like that for a reason. So the thing about Three of Swords is that we're supposed to learn it once and move forward. When we're hard-headed and we don't take the lesson, it's when it becomes that Eight of Swords energy of us being trapped in, the discomfort and the imprisonment. So I would have loved to have said yes, but it doesn't seem like reconciliation is a good thing because it's just going to be more of you overgiving. It's just going to be you and this person having petty disputes and arguments that dysregulate your nervous system, and you don't need or deserve that. So just let it go. You said you're weak. Why are you saying that you're weak, Nicole? I didn't expect that response. But why are you weak? Let me know. Let me know what I said. We're going to wrap up with Tashana. How will my daughter's meeting with the gal go on Tuesday? How will my daughter's meeting with the gal go? I don't know what the gal is, but I'm going to ask anyway. And we'll see what comes up. Ancestors, angels, city master spirits to walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom does Tashana need at this time about her daughter's meeting on Tuesday? What can you tell us about how it will go? If there are any blockages, threats, or barriers, any negative aspects that she needs to be made aware of, please reveal that to us and let us know if there's anything she can do in terms of prayer or protection. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. That was our life before Dan. Yeah, and you don't want to return to that. You don't want to return to that. So that's why you can't really reconnect with that person right now. Page of Cups, Nine of Wands, and the High Priestess. It will go well. You just need to do some prayer work over her between now and then, right? Page of Cups. Your baby is very, very honest. She's also highly spiritually protected, and we've talked about this with your daughter before. So she's going to show up and she's going to be her best and her most honest. So, and anytime we show up and we're our best and most honest, things go well for us. We do have the Nine of Wands here, though. And the Nine of Wands is a card of a need for protection. It's also the wounded warrior. I think she may feel stress around this for some reason. So I think it's going to be important that you talk to her, right? Nine of Wands over the Queen of Pentacles. So really talking to her and building up her confidence before this meeting happens. And then we have that High Priestess, which says that you need to be doing some deep and specific ancestral prayer over her before this meeting happens. Overall, I see this going really, really well. And again, I don't know what the gal is, but it seems like there's a nervousness in your baby that needs to be eased. That's the main thing that I'm seeing right now. All righty. But see, here's the thing, Nicole, and I want to highlight what you just said. You were a different person then. I don't think sometimes we can take for granted. I'm not going to cry. Sometimes we can take for granted how much people enjoy the unevolved parts of us or versions of ourselves, right? So you have grown and you were a different person then, and you revel tremendously in where you are now. But that does not mean that this other person has. And it also does not mean that they don't want to see you show up like an old version of yourselves. I don't know why. There's something in people where it makes them feel like they got a gotcha if they can dysregulate you and bring you back to your old self. So that's even more of a reason why you can't reconnect with this person. You are a different person now. You like what you are now. There's a piece to who you are now. And even if this person misses you and what they're verbalizing may seem genuine, it's only a matter of time before the petty disputes and arguments happen and they try to bring you back to your old self. Okay? Love you all. I will be here for a happy hour reading this week. I know we didn't get to get one last week. If you have suggestions for the happy hour topic, please feel free to put them in the comments. But I'll be back Thursday, 8 p.m. EST. Join me, bring your wine or your tea, whatever your comforting beverage of choice is, and we'll get into some readings on Thursday at 8 p.m. In the meantime, move slowly, be gentle with yourselves. We're all still getting downloads and revelations post this new moon. This energy is going to be fraught with a lot of emotional movement as we make our way towards the eclipse. Don't be like me out here weeping on camera and shit. So love you all. I'll see you Thursday. Take care. Bye.